Different types of blood types that we're going to go over now. So there's 8 total. Let's start with A, B, and O. So those are the main 4. And then once you get into the RH factor, which is either you're positive or negative, that totals into 8. So
100%.
so we have the antigen, which is all RBCs have them except for type O. So the antigen is literally like an immune. It's like an immune response that contacts the antibody that there's something irregular, come and destroy it. So the antigen is hooked up to the actual red blood cell. And then we have the antibody, which is an antibody in the plasma. So it's circulating and it's part of the immune system that kind of attaches to the antigen, stirs up a lot of things. And fun fact that every blood type has an antibody except for type AB. That was very fascinating. I have never knew till doing some research on this episode.
Yeah. So when you think, because it's a little confusing. So like for all you nurses out there or medical professionals that are doing exams and stuff. So when you hear blood type A, B, and O, so that's usually referring to the antigen on the blood. An antibody is a thing that's circulating. So if you have type A, you have type A antigens. If you're blood type B, you have B antigens, and so on and so forth. So regarding blood type A, so it has only A antigens. And if you have blood type A, you're going to have B antibodies. So you're pro A and you could say you're against B, for example. So that's why when you get blood, you need to get type A blood or also AB, because you could only get the kind of blood associated with what antigens you have. Because think about it as like 2 magnets. When you get 2 negatives, they push from each other, right? But when you do have a negative and a positive, they stick together. So for example, let's say A is a minus. So your blood type is A and you get A. They don't stick together. But if you're blood type A and you get B, well, guess what? B is a positive. So now you have a negative, which is the A, and the B is a positive. And what happens when you have opposite charge? They stick together.
Yeah.
And they fight each other off, and they end up destroying themselves and breaking it down. And you can't live like that. You get into a reaction. Yeah. And it's very detrimental. You start getting fevers. You start getting tachycardic. You start turning red. Your blood pressure might drop. It's a whole mess. Of course, not everybody has a really severe reaction to it. Some people might have like a small reaction where they just get a little bit red, and usually physicians are okay with you getting that. Maybe they'll just give you Benadryl, and then that'll kind of treat it and alleviate it, because sometimes we need to give you blood, but you happen to be one of the lucky ones where you have a reaction to your own blood type when you get it, just because there's like other micro things in there that people react to. That's why it happens, unfortunately. So sometimes we just give you the same blood, even though you have a little bit of reaction, we just give Benadryl and it'll kind of finish it off with that. So yeah, so regarding if your blood type is A, you could donate to A and AB, and you can receive blood from O, and you can receive blood from A. And then for blood type B, you have the B antigens, so you could donate to a person that has B blood or AB blood, and you can receive blood from a patient that's O and B as well. Okay. So a lot of this is just kind of mix and matching the opposites. So AB and O kind of get a little bit confusing. So blood type AB, it has both A and B antigens, but you don't have any antibodies at all, because if you had A antibodies, guess what? It would attack the A portion of your blood, and if you would have B antibodies, it would attack your B portion of your blood.
And this is a good way to think about it, because you have no antibodies in the plasma, and plasma is already circulating throughout your body, you can receive almost anything. You're that universal recipient.
Yep, the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how that works too.
And blood type O, so that one has no antigens on its surface, but it has both A and B plasma antibodies. I'm sorry, no antigens on the blood, so O, but on the plasma it has both A and B antibodies. So you can donate to anybody, meaning you're the universal donor, but you can only receive O because you have antigens to both A and B. So that's the beauty of blood type O, is you can give, but you could only receive so little.
Right. And if you thought that was complex, it goes a little bit of a step further, because now we also have RH factor, and that's usually positive RH factor or negative RH factor. And kind of the same thing goes with whatever you learn with the blood, is that if your patient is RH positive, they can receive positive and negative blood. But if they are negative, they could only receive negative. So that's kind of another thing. So if you give, let's say you're A negative, you can get A positive blood. You're going to have another reaction, and you're going to do more harm than good. If you want to watch or listen to our latest episode,
You can check us out on Apple, Spotify, or watch us on YouTube.